Most homeowners think drywall cracks mean bad drywall work. But in reality, drywall cracks are almost never the real problem. They're a symptom. And the reason they show up months after a renovation is because drywall is usually the first thing that tells you something underneath is moving. Let's talk about why this happens, because if you understand this, you can prevent most callbacks before they ever happen. When renovations are finished, everything looks perfect. The walls are smooth, paint looks clean, corners are sharp. Then a few months later, cracks start appearing around doors, ceilings, corners, or joints. That delay is the clue. Drywall doesn't usually fail immediately. It fails after the building starts adjusting to changes. And renovations cause a lot of change. One of the biggest reasons drywall cracks after renovations is structural movement. When you open walls, remove load paths, add beams, or reframe areas, you change how the house carries weight. Even small framing changes can redistribute loads. The house settles. Wood dries. Fasteners shift. Drywall doesn't bend very well. So it cracks. This is especially common around door openings, windows, and ceiling transitions. Another major cause is wood moisture content. In renovations, new framing is often installed next to old framing. Old wood is already dried and stabilized. New wood hasn't. As new studs, plates, and joists dry out, they shrink slightly. That tiny movement is enough to crack drywall joints, especially at seams and corners. This is why renovation drywall is harder than new construction drywall. You're marrying two different generations of material together. Framing quality is another huge factor. Drywall shows framing problems better than any other finish. Walls that aren't flat, studs that are twisted, uneven ceiling joists, or poor blocking all translate into stress points. Drywall gets screwed tight to framing. When the framing moves, drywall takes the hit. This is why cracks often follow straight lines. They're tracing framing movement underneath. Fastening mistakes also play a role. Drywall that's overscrewed weakens the paper face. Underscrewed drywall flexes too much. Screw spacing, edge distance, and penetration depth all matter. If drywall isn't held consistently, it moves independently of the structure. Movement equals cracks. Joint treatment is another overlooked issue. Mud and tape don't add strength. They manage movement. If joints are rushed, poorly embedded, or not allowed to dry properly between coats, they fail later. Corners are especially vulnerable. Inside corners move more than flat walls. If corners aren't reinforced properly, cracks are almost guaranteed. Temperature and humidity swings also play a big role. Renovations often involve changing insulation, air sealing, or HVAC layouts. That changes how the house breathes. Drywall expands and contracts with humidity changes. If the environment isn't controlled during finishing, the drywall adjusts later, after the job is done. That's when cracks appear. Another reason cracks show up months later is expectation mismatch. Homeowners expect renovated areas to behave like concrete. But houses are flexible structures. Movement doesn't mean failure. It means the house is alive. The problem is when contractors don't explain this. Education prevents callbacks as much as workmanship does. So how do professionals reduce drywall cracking? First, they slow down framing. Flat, straight, and properly fastened framing matters more than speed. Second, they manage moisture. Dry materials go in before drywall goes up. Third, they detail joints properly. Correct tape, correct compound, and enough drying time. Fourth, they respect movement zones. Corners, transitions, and openings get extra attention. And finally, they set realistic expectations. Some movement is normal. Cracks are signals, not surprises. Here's the real lesson. Drywall cracks aren't a drywall problem. They're a system problem. Structure, moisture, fastening, and environment all work together. When one part is ignored, drywall tells the story later. Good contractors don't just finish walls. They think about what happens after the paint dries. That's how you avoid callbacks, protect your reputation, and deliver work that lasts. If you want more real-world renovation knowledge like this, subscribe to the channel. This is construction education based on experience, not theory.